Today I decided I'm gonna wash my car. Did you know washing your car is a pretty intimate thing? Whether it's cracked paint, faded trim, or horrible wheel fitment, sometimes washing your car reminds you of all the things you hate about it. So today we're gonna go over the 5 biggest problems with my Honda Accord. And problem number 1 is how dirty this damn car is. The paint has a bunch of oxidation. The wheels are crusty. The interior is super dirty. The windows are dirty. And if you look inside of it, there's trash everywhere. And in general, the car just really has never been a nice car, you know? This is an affordable small family car from the mid-90s. And I use it as my daily driver. This is my reliable car. This is the car that never breaks down. This is the car that gets me to work, back from work, and everywhere else I want to go. However, throughout this video, my goal is to clean up the car a little bit, just a little bit. Nothing crazy. I'm not gonna fully detail the car, but just get it clean so that, you know, driving to work and driving home from work feels nicer. And if I pick up a friend, they're not gonna be like, dude, you're a mess. But let's go ahead and move on to problem number 2. Problem number 2 is the amount of cosmetic damage that this car has. As you could see, bumper all torn up. We have a headlight with a literal hole in it that I actually don't even think that headlight works anymore. I think the bulb ran out. This fender right here, super wavy. I'm missing a whole side mirror. Yeah, well, the mirror's there, but the whole casing for it is all gone. If you look at my rear speaker covers, they are completely unattached and have been absolutely demolished by my dog. Same goes to the cover on my center console here. I actually had to pull this apart and zip tie it, as you can see there, in order to keep the flap on. This back door panel is completely unattached here, and you know, this car is absolutely not a show car. It never was. I mean, it could have been. Once upon a time it could have been, but it's never been super nice. So when stuff gets damaged, I kind of just brush it off, and I'm like, hey man, like, I got this car for super cheap. It was basically a hand-me-down from my sister, and as long as the car works and it gets me to where I gotta go, I don't really worry about it too much. But it does hurt. It does still hurt. It hurts. I promise it does. So, you know, there are plans to fix all of these things, and that's kind of why we're making this video, right? So that's 2 out of the 5 problems, and so far they kind of go hand in hand. You know, they're both kind of cosmetic things and can be relatively easily addressed, but I promise you, as the list goes on, it's gonna get more and more complicated. Before we get to number 3, let's do some cleaning. And now that my car is free of junk, let's move on to the 3rd problem I have with this car. The 3rd biggest problem I have with this car is the fitment. And as you can see, the wheels are super sunk in the rear and in the front. The car is plenty low. I'm actually pretty happy with how low it is. I may even want to raise it a tiny bit just for drivability purposes, but I have always hated how sunk in these wheels are. I think I could get a good, like, let me see, finger on the wheel that's straight above. That's like, it's like a good digit, maybe digit and a half. So like inch and a half maybe. And I've always planned on getting spacers for the car to improve that wheel fitment and make it look nice and dial in the fitment. But as we talked about previously, my fenders are also all messed up, so I haven't really cared to worry about spacers until I fix the fenders. So I've been in this like perpetual loop of not fixing one thing because I haven't fixed the other thing first, and so forth. But along with the wheel fitment, I've also always wanted to get a proper alignment on this car. A lot of 90s Hondas are notorious for not having a lot of adjustability from the factory for alignments and such. So when you slam your car, if you don't put aftermarket suspension components on it, then you kind of just have a shit alignment forever. And with a really bad alignment like that, you just go through tires. I have personally gone through like 4 sets of tires in the last 4 years, which, considering I don't drive more than 10,000 miles a year, is a lot. The solutions for that problem are pretty simple. You know, it's basically just buy the things you need, man. Like, buy the stuff you need to do that. And that's kind of why I haven't done it. But, you know, that's definitely what's on my list of things to do to this car from here on out.
And problem number 4. So I have no air conditioning. Let me show you.
So here is my engine, and if you look down at the accessories, we have the alternator here and then the AC compressor right below it. And if you look at the AC compressor, it has no belt on it. Reason being, late last summer, I was driving home from work one day when I started smelling like a burning smell, and I saw smoke come out of the hood of my car. I pulled over, checked it out, and I saw that the belt was getting destroyed by the AC compressor. I think the clutch might have seized up or something, and it was getting a lot of friction turning there. So I got back in my car, drove it home, was super careful. I was really close to home, so I was just super careful, took it slow, got home, and I was kind of in a pinch at the time, money-wise, so I figured out the cheapest solution to bypass my air conditioning, and I just bought a new belt that was a lot smaller. It only goes around the alternator and the crank, and that's it. So the AC condenser is basically just sitting there, doing nothing, and right now it's fine. You know, winter, don't really need air conditioning much. But with the warmer months coming up, I definitely want to get the AC fixed in my car, especially for my dogs. Me is one thing. I don't really care. If I have to suffer, I suffer, whatever. But my dogs, whenever I want to take them anywhere, I would love if there's AC in the car and they can have an enjoyable experience instead of just being miserable and hot like I am. And the 5th and final and biggest and god damn just annoying problems with this car. It has a check engine light. As you can see, the tags on this car are from 2021, and I'm not trying to incriminate myself here, you know, like, I have been driving this car with an expired registration for a while. Don't get me wrong, I have paid all of my registration fees. I pay them. I am at the point where I can't even pay them online anymore. I have to go in and tell them, hey, I don't have a smog, my car has a check engine light, blah, 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 this and that. And I've been trying to fix the problem for the last 3 years. And you may be wondering, what is wrong with the car? You know, it's really difficult to say. The car's check engine light is a very, very, very elusive problem to fix. I forget the exact code for it, but it is basically, it is an extremely small leak in the evap system. So there's like 2 different codes for it. One of them means, oh, there's a big leak and like, you know, we can tell something's going on here. We're not able to pressurize our system completely. This leak is so big. And then there's a second code for an evap leak, which is a tiny one. It's literally like, oh, we could barely detect this. We could barely detect there's a leak, but there is probably a leak somewhere, just by the way. And that's basically the code my car has. Diagnosis of the code is really difficult because I manual transmission swapped the car. So I put a manual transmission that wasn't supposed to be in it. Originally it was an automatic transmission. I'll go ahead and show you. So here you could see my cluster, and as you could see, it has the Prindle on it right in the middle there. So PRNDD21. And that is for an automatic transmission car. When you select the gears, that's where it'll basically show you what drive mode you're in. But as you can see, I have a manual transmission in the car. See, 3rd pedal. And I did this myself. I manual swapped my car over a weekend, like 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago. And so when I did that, I had to get a manual transmission ECU and put that in this car, which originally had an automatic transmission. Unfortunately, there are some differences in the EGR system and the evap system between the 2 different cars. So I think that's where the check engine light may lie. But it could also just be a very small, tiny leak that the car detects. So I actually did purchase a smoke machine so I can test the evap system, make sure that there isn't a leak and check for a leak. So that is something I will be doing shortly. But overall, this check engine light has been absolute hell. You know, even the little things that I basically just summarized for you guys, that has taken months out of my life to research and diagnose, or to just research and like know the differences between the different cars. But yeah, I get pulled over in the car all the time. I get parking tickets all the time. I can't even park in the street without getting a ticket. So I'm always like dodging street parking as much as I can. So yeah, it's really hard to work around that. And I've been trying to fix the issue, but I will say my own discipline with my car and my attitude towards my car is completely changing. I do want to make this car nice. I do want to make it street legal. I do want to go get it smogged and like fix the check engine light, do all that. I want to fix the alignment on it. I want to fix the wheel fitment and make the car look and drive and, you know, be nice. I would love that. I want that for this car. This is my favorite car. I like this car more than the Mustang just because its story, how much I've been through in it. This car has been stolen from me and I recovered it, and instead of writing it off and getting a paycheck for it, I just was like, nah, this is my car, I'm keeping it, and I'm gonna make it work. It's like, I'll fix it. They stole a bunch of stuff in it. I slowly replaced everything. So yeah, I love this car, and we're gonna fix everything I talked about today. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna address it. So you can look forward to that. Stay tuned for that. And if any of you want to know like the full story of this car and me to go into detail about everything from when I got it to when it was stolen to when I did the tranny swap and how long that took, how much I researched that, yeah, there's a very long and detailed history behind this car. This is the car that started the channel, you know? This is what did it. So it's a special car in my in my heart. I've never wanted to get rid of it, and I don't plan on ever getting rid of it. So if that's the plan, we might as well give her what she deserves. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't bore you. I know I did a lot today. There's a lot of big plans. So we're doing a lot of stuff. So make sure to stay tuned. Look forward for all the new content, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. Peace.